here they are, and we'll see whether Ecleto is actually blind going second. Could be really interesting here. And I mean, the reason why we can see a card like Bigfoot is because all of the purely spells discard. They do not discard as cost, and that is why some of these decks are playing a discard engine, such as Dark World cards and sometimes Danger cards. But when you play a card like Bigfoot, that's obviously going to be good going second, but pretty awful going first.
No, exactly.
So maybe he's actually going second, and that would be an interesting idea.
I mean, I also would like it to see basically like the approach of losing the die roll. So basically just say, okay, if I lose the die roll, my opponent will go first, and then I just go second, no? And yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing this match. And now that I see Mattia, I actually played against him the regional in January, and he was my only loss.
Oh, really? Nice. Nice one. So let's see, definitely gonna be somewhat experienced as well then. Ecleto does have a few top cut finishes, I think also against you at some point.
Yeah, he lost to me in top 64 in 2015.
2015, back in Necron's format, so yeah. He does have some experience, but let's see, I think Mattia is gonna go first. And as mentioned, usually we saw in the past months the deck Labyrinth playing a lot of trap cards, but as you can see here with some of these new additions, what you can do is some very cool combos with the Stovey and the Chandelier, basically where you can get the trap card face down, and then you can use it right away, and it's great because it synergizes really well with some of the side deck cards as well.
Yeah, I mean, like in general, I think that the deck has evolved so much in a very short amount of time, I would say.
Yeah.
Because the approach, as you first mentioned, was completely different. Like, you used to play cards such as Compulsory Evacuation Device, or someone plays Solemn Strikes, for example.
Yeah.
And here the deck changed entirely.
And here Ecleto will reveal his deck. And Mattia does have an Ash. At the same time, I think this will be a very interesting matchup for both players.
Yeah.
Because these are not your streamlined deck. You might need to read. And here we see Summon on field Bude, also the Purely, which obviously can get you to excavate 3 cards and will be negated by Infinite Impermanence.
And we were mentioning this before. I think that one of the advantages that the Purely deck might be having is that most of our players might not be super familiar with it.
And here we see already some reading from his opponent, which is always a good sign if you're Ecleto.
Especially because he's used to write and read and create stuff, no?
Masterpieces, yeah. And yeah, here though we actually are gonna see an Ash Blossom on the second spell. Does Ecleto have a third way to play? And he does.
Ooh.
Okay, thinking about whether to summon it, but it's gonna be the skill drain. And you can see Ecleto smiling. There can be a Chain Lady to the effect to set one from deck.
Yeah.
But I think Mattia might have missed the chance here. Let's see if there is a response or whether he's thinking about it. And I do like 3 copies of Skill Drain. I think you can cut all of the other traps, but Skill Drain is just so strong. But I think we are not seeing the lady, unfortunately. Yeah. I think he might have forgotten about it.
Yeah, he missed it. Still, I mean, having Skill Drain on the field, I mean, Ecleto passes to Mattia, and nothing that he could have done.
Unfortunate, because I think this was game over if Mattia actually set the big welcome from the deck. At the same time, this is still a very, very strong position. But maybe the emotions got to him on playing on stage.
Yeah. And I mean, here now we see the Stovey being activated.
Yeah. Gonna set the big welcome from the deck. And what's really nice about this is that it gives a potentially trap-heavy deck a way to play both as going second and also to grind. Because basically, not only do you get some resources, but whether you can get these cards back from the graveyard. It's pretty easy as long as you remove a monster from the field with the trap effect.
Yeah.
Which the big welcome does on his own. So it's a lot of advantage.
And you can tell that Eclair is smiling because when skill drain is face up, you're not having a good time with that.
At the same time, though, you know what could be really strong in this instance? The Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Because it would be one of the outs to the skill drain, funny enough.
And I think also it will be very difficult for Mattia to get rid of the Bigfoot in general.
Let's see. As you can see here, Ecleto is also going to ask some clarification on the effects. But as we can say, basically, as long as Big Welcome resolves, and this is really way too much advantage, as you can see here, since Big Welcome takes a monster back to the end, you can then both activate the Stovey and activate the Welcome in Grave. So basically, you get a +3 out of the one single Big Welcome, and that is insane. So much advantage. As you can see here, gonna activate both this and the Big Welcome. Wow. And this is well played by Mattia. So much advantage.
And Ecledo has seen enough, picks up his cards, and Mattia.
1-0.
Yeah, won your first game.
Mattia looking at the camera, smiling, and now it's Ecleto who gonna try his best to not lose that quickly, because this was a fast game one.
Now, especially, I think that playing purely and facing this kind of deck, you're not gonna have a good time with this. Especially because we've mentioned this before, the approach of Labyrinth has changed significantly over the past few weeks, I could say.
Yeah.
And basically 1 week has passed from the UK National Championship and YCS Philadelphia. So maybe not being super familiar to playing against this new type of strategy might not be, so helpful.
Yeah, also because we mentioned how Ecleto's deck seems to be built for going second, but you cannot really afford it because he only has 2 copies of Lightning Storm in his side deck, and the rest is not really for going first.
Yeah.
He does have the Ghost Spell, which is really nice against this version specifically. Both Ash and Ghost Spell can be really good, but that's about it. On the other hand, Mattia has a lot of tools. So he's already maining 12 Ventrops, and in his side deck he has cards such as some Kaijus, which are really nice against obviously the XYZ monsters and the Noir. And at the same time, he has Bestials, which can also be interesting in this matchup. They are not exactly the best, but there is a nice synergy, which is in some matchups with this deck. What you can do is you can activate a Bestial, especially the Magnamut, and then you take it back to the end with the Big Welcome, because it doesn't say just Labyrinth monsters, and you can activate the Magnamut again, which is a nice addition. But I think regardless, Ecleto is gonna try to build up his board, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these Bigfoots in action, which can be really strong. They can get rid of these cards such as Skill Drain.
Yeah.
But our duelists are ready, so let's jump back into game 2. Here they are. So first of all, I do see a driver, unfortunately, in the end, once again.
And Gamma.
Yeah, and Gamma. We might see this on the purely second time this weekend that we see both driver and Gamma being drawn, but instead is the impermanence. Makes sense. You need to use the impermanence first, because if you use the Gamma, then it's completely useless. And we might just see the Gamma now.
Yeah, I think I would.
And this is great stuff. But I think Ecleto will smile whether he sees that his opponent drew the driver.
Yeah.
Does he have an Ash maybe that he wants to activate here? No. But as you can see, Ecleto gonna have a nice smile. Seeing that his opponent drew into the driver. But this might be enough to stop the turn from Ecleto. And the rest of the
think it's
end,
barrier
maybe
and
the lady?
Yeah, better than lady.
Yeah. And barrier is really
Yeah.
strong in this matchup.
Yeah. Ah, the one off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's it. So Ecleto passes play back to his opponent. And this is also a nice synergy.
Yeah.
Since Infinite Impermanence has been activated, you can special summon the lady, and Ecleto is already smiling kind of ironically about this position. And wow, a nice touch from the side deck. Wow, I didn't expect to see Mudora.
Ah, it's a normal summon.
It's fair
bit
enough.
thick.
It does its job, and it's actually quite nice against Purely.
Yeah, I mean, when he's the field.
Yeah, I mean, the nice synergy obviously here is that you can draw it alongside the 6 of the ways to discard to set a labyrinth, and then it does something else.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just a normal summon. And Ecleto gonna have a few problems here dealing with this.
Especially because like the deep barrier is set.
It's one of the best cards by far against Purely.
Yeah.
They literally cannot do anything. Their entire extra deck is pretty much XYZ.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a huge problem.
Ooh, there's the Bigfoot.
Bigfoot coming from the end. And actually, it would be really bad to discard here. Luckily for Ecleto, this is not the case. And it's going to be a 3,000 attack monsters. But yeah, here there is not much that he can do. He can excavate and see what happens.
And I think the Bigfoot being drawn by Ecleto might be maybe the game changer.
It could save the day.
Yeah.
There is no skill drain. And here we see two different options, but obviously he's gonna pick the spell because he thinks that he can go for an XYZ summon, but he's gonna see the dimensional barrier, which if you're Ecleto, then you're not too happy because he can chain the lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you can see here, Ecleto allowed it, which is gonna be really strong. He forgot about the lady in game 1. Luckily, he now remembered, and he got to set a welcome. And this is tough if you're Ecleto, because you need to crush most likely into the lady, but then what can you even do?
That's the point. Especially because he's left only with 3,600.
Yeah.
So, not the ideal situation, especially.
Maybe the Anima, though, could be nice because of the positioning, I think. That's the only card. Yeah. At the same time, he's gonna force the Mudora. Yeah. To chain, but this is still a nice recognition by Ecleto. If you're playing against this deck, you should always keep in mind whether you position your monsters in a certain way because of this card, which, by the way, we have seen last year in the top 4, winning actually the Egoist match because against the Baguska. And yeah.
And I think here you will crush, right?
I mean, you have to, I think. I'm surprised that he actually put back the Impermanence. Do you really want to top deck into Impermanence?
I don't like it, honestly.
Ooh, but this could be a nice one. There is a talent. But what can you even do with this? Does he play any Link Shoe? Maybe the Furier? I can't quite tell. I gotta say, Ecleto, you're a writer, but your handwriting is awful. Yeah. And he goes fishing for an answer. Doesn't seem to be too happy, but he's gonna just crush.
Especially because if you go talent draw 2, what you're really looking like to draw. That's the
Probably
point.
just a way to stay in this game and some resources. But now it seems as if he's just gonna set a couple cards and plays back to his opponent, who doesn't really need to top the. Ooh, and he does get one of the best cards here with the Arianna.
Oh, no impermanence also.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, is not the best because if you impermanence here, they can chain the big welcome and basically play around it.
But I think with this Ariana,
This is tough.
yeah.
Because what you can do is you can get to the lovely, and the lovely every turn can set the barrier face down, which is huge. And I think this is the line here. You go big labyrinth to get the lovely, and this way you can both pop cards, and then you have so much advantage. Very nice play here. As you can see, he's gonna swing over the anima, and by having the lady on the field, he can now activate the big welcome, chain the lady if there is not an ash, but there is a bell. So nice one, nice save. At the same time, though, we shouldn't forget that the big labyrinth has also a graveyard effect.
Yeah.
So during his opponent turn, it will be able to basically have a compulsory-like effect.
Yeah, I think he's explaining it to Ecledo.
Because he just passed back to his opponent. Udo has a chance. Now the situation doesn't look that awful. And he's gonna start things off with the Book of Moon, because this turns off the big welcome that requires you to have a level 8, fiend. And I think he's actually gonna chain it this way. He can actually get a draw from the Ariana.
Yeah.
And I think this makes sense. As you can see here, he's gonna activate his effect. Oh, he just need to draw Kev. I mean, just gonna shuffle to make sure that, there is no mistake here. Gonna draw a card. Okay, I guess the Stovey, I think, not the best here, but. Is that the last card in hand from Ecledo? I think so, right?
Yeah. Doesn't have anything else.
So it's pretty much one pure lily against the ward, but it could be enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ecledo found what he was looking for, and now I think we can see some...
Finally, some purely action.
Yeah.
And as you can see here, this is a nice effect. It gets two spells and traps from either player graveyard. And this is one of the reasons why you can get to a huge Noir.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can also get to a huge Zeus, which is honestly nothing to joke about. We saw some versions of Zodiac being really good for the same reasons in the past years. And this is just an alternative win condition for the deck.
And I think after, having said there, the Gamma was activated and impermanence and all the stuff, finally Ecledo got to see the first purely cards. And, I mean, being left with 1,500 life points still, here is showing us what the deck is capable of. And with the Sleepy now being activated, I think we will soon see a Noir hitting the field.
Yeah, he can guarantee a draw as well during the standby phase of his opponent. And as you can see here, this has so much potential from Ecledo. And yeah, as you mentioned, here comes the Noir, such a powerful card. Essentially, as long as it has 5 materials under it, and this is the case, it gains so much protection, as well as the possibility, since it's not once per turn, to just detach 2 and disrupt your opponent. And I think he has 6 or 5 materials, 6 probably,
Yeah,
right?
6 it should be.
Yeah, they're just doing some math to check how much the attack will be. And that's pretty much about it. And as you can see here, I think Cleto is about to end, and Mattia is thinking whether to use this lady in the end phase. Doesn't make much sense, and during the standby phase, his opponent will be able to draw a card, and this seems like an uphill battle for Mattia, who didn't even go for the discard Labyrinth effect.
Yeah, because now he drew into the Chandelier, and doesn't look so promising, honestly.
It seems really tough to fight back against the Noir. It sometimes is tough to fight back with 6 cards. In this spot, even more.
I think he entered battle phase.
Basically, what Ecleto can do is detach 2 to target a card on the field or graveyard and put it to the bottom of the deck.
But yeah, I think they're counting how many materials there are. Because with a spell being underneath, I think the Noir gets plus 300.
Yeah, because Noir without any materials is obviously only 1100. And this is exactly what they're checking for. And here it will go for either the Stovey or the Chandra. It doesn't really matter. They have the same effect. And as you can see here, Ecleto is going to detach 2 to send the nearly set trap to the bottom of the deck right away. And honestly, it seems as if this game is going to be almost impossible from Mattia. At the same time, he has some interesting side deck options that are also the reason why he's not really interested in picking up his deck as soon as possible.
Yeah. I agree.
And as you can see here, Ecleto smiling ironically in game 1, smiling out of joy here in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing how the game 2 started, honestly, I think I would have never expected to be at this point. I think this might have been a 2-0 match.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I think here Ecleto was able to come back.
And honestly, the key was the Ghost Spell.
Yeah.
We mentioned how this deck looks really good, but once deck lists get, used to the deck, and if Ash Blossom and Bell are both free copies, it can be a big issue for this version of Labyrinth.
So here I think that Ecleto took a lot of advantage, and
as you can see here, he will be able to search his deck for another card. And I think, yeah, this seems really tough for his opponent to fight back from.
because I think he's only left with
The lady?
right?
Yeah.
That's it.
And Ecleto knows about the lady too. So he knows that he's completely safe. He cannot even be special summoned at the moment. And as you can see here, he can just search as much as possible. Here, the Noir is gonna attack directly, just counting some damage.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are gonna see a huge Zeus in main phase 2. I think Mattia is gonna check his draw. It might be a pot, which is decent enough, if you ask me. But yeah, it doesn't seem like there is much that can save him. As you can see here, gonna banish 6, check, and then gonna draw 2 more. And it's Arianna, and unfortunately another extravagance, which is completely useless. and basically made it so that didn't matter. And with that being said, I think there is not much hope for his opponent. He's gonna go through his deck, search a card. This obviously makes it so that he can use now the lady.
Yeah. But honestly, I mean, it doesn't look promising.
No. The best could be just to search either a trap or one of his cards, just to set another one. And he does go for the Stovey. What's nice about Stovey is that it's a level 2.
Yeah.
And it gets special summoned from the graveyard, which, although it's not a tuner, allows this deck to easily go for one of the most powerful Synchro Monster released lately, which is the Chaos Angel.
Yeah.
Which maybe we will see either in this game or in the next one. And it's a very interesting card because, as mentioned, it doesn't require a real tuner. But I think Mattia has seen enough. He picks up his card, which means we are gonna go to game 3. It's 1-1. And now score is even. Mattia most likely gonna go first, which means he will side out some of these entrops, and gonna side some of these interesting trap cards. We have seen the one of Dimensional Barrier, but we might see both the Eradicator and maybe some other viruses in his side deck.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, at least I would be happy if I were Ecleto of winning this game 2, which started incredibly, you know, like, everything was wrong. So the impermanence, then the gamma. And now here, looking at the side deck for Mattia going into this game 3, I think I will see him as a favorite.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, on the other hand, Ecleto is just sitting on 2 Lightning Storms. He doesn't even have the Harpy's Feather Dust.
Yeah, at the same time, though, we mentioned he has 3 Ash and 3 Bell.
Yeah.
Which I think are really, really good. So if I had to take a blunt guess, I think if Ecleto is to win this game, it's because of these cards. If he draws into Ash and Bell, even both maybe, I think he's still favorite. If he doesn't, it's definitely gonna be tough. Because even the Lightning Storm, it's pretty awful in this matchup. You don't set that many cards, and most of them are chainable. So I think it's really gonna be down to the Bell and Ash. But it seems as if Mattia is taking his last decision on what to side in. Remember, this is a crucial moment because one of these duelists will advance with a 3-0 record. And just as a reminder, with 11 rounds of Swiss and top 32 only, with 1,600 plus players at the event, you basically need an X2 record and you're not even guaranteed to make it to the top cut. So losing early on can be really deadly. Our players, though, are ready. Let's find out who will be the winner of Game 3. And here they are. So it seems as a fast opening here from Mattia, actually setting 3 face down.
Okay.
Which is surprising and could make Ecleto life much happier if he has the Lightning Storm. Let's see. I think main phase is actually entered. And there is not a Lightning Storm here. But there is gonna be one of these purely spells. And
Gamma?
I think he has Gamma and Keldo. Interesting, actually. So he kept the Gamma. Here we see the Bigfoot. Unfortunately, he doesn't do anything here because there are no cards face up, which is a shame. And the Gamma is actually gonna be really strong.
Especially because I don't think Ecleto is expecting it.
Going
no way.
And yeah, here we could see the Pure Lily. I think you must.
I mean,
Gamma.
you have to. Yeah. You cannot even think about it.
Yeah. He's gonna Gamma, and here Ecleto is caught off guard by this decision. At the same time, he can use both gamma, both Ash and Bell. He does.
Okay.
But I think if you're Mattia, you're super happy about this Bell.
No, of course, like you must be super happy. The thing is that if he has impermanence, I think, that's the thing. Yeah.
This is huge, because you get to keep the gamma.
Yeah. This hurts so much. And you can tell Ecleto is still considering chaining something else. He has Book of Moon. Okay.
Yeah, Book of Moon, which is okay at best, if you ask me. It's not like you gain much out of this trade.
Yeah.
Because they still have the gamma.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. I mean, it's basically 1-for-1, but the gamma is still alive.
Yeah.
So it's...
And you need to out the gamma.
Yeah.
At the same time, something that we could also see from...
but the talent is activated in the same
yeah,
column.
in the same
In
column. Same column as impermanent. But, yeah, it didn't... So he couldn't activate the thruster because Bell actually negates the activation. So that's why the judge corrected him. At the same time, he couldn't use it in the same zone, but since Infinite Impermanence didn't resolve because of Book of Moon, he's still fine. But the reason why he cannot use the thrust is because Bell negates activation, which is something you should keep in mind. So a little bit of confusion, but here we are back on track. And as you can see, he gets to reveal 3 purely, normal summon 1, and let's see whether he's gonna get gamma here. What do you think?
I mean, he knows that the other cards in Ecleto's hand is thrust. I think I will go with this gamma.
Yeah. And here is the gamma resolving, which means now Ecleto can use this thrust. And again, Ecleto, just in case, activating it in another column. And what do you think he might go for here? Maybe just the talent?
Maybe just the talent, yeah. I don't think you want to get the lightning, right?
No, you cannot use it.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
it's useless.
that's awful.
So
Yes. He does get the talent, maybe just to draw.
You draw 2, right?
Yeah. I think you draw 2 and that's it. Makes sense. You just want to draw into more quick spells. And let's see, Ecleto doesn't seem too happy about it. And I think he passed. Wow. Hard brick on those draws, and I think I did see some welcomes, but maybe there is an Ash. Is there an Ash from Ecleto? There is, and this at least makes it somewhat fair, but wow. He has both big welcome and that is huge.
You can tell Ecleto is smiling, but...
So I think something nice here could be getting like a Stovey, because he has the Keldo to discard with the Stovey.
Yeah.
For example, this could be an interesting play.
Yeah, he's considering it, but...
I think it's actually nice, because you get it back, you get 1 more interruption in the grave, 1 more welcome card, and I think it is. So well played by Mattia. And this is the nice synergy of the deck. He's able to activate the Stovey with the Keldo. And this allows him to get the big welcome, which is nice because next turn you activate the big welcome, and when it resolves, you get back the Stovey and the welcome from the graveyard.
Yeah, super nice.
So this has to be a big welcome for sure.
Yeah.
So unless there is another Ash or Bell in the end from Ecleto, which could be there, because he bricked on purely, this is going to be so much advantage. Let's see if there is a response. And there is another
it
ash.
does.
Nice. So you can see Mattia smiling. And this is actually tough. Only a face down card. It all comes down to this, because my friend Pure can activate, the Pure Lily can be there. So I think this could be actually Ecleto's game pretty easily if there is nothing else there.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't draw any purely spells before, but the 2 Ash Blossom weren't there, so...
Plus the bell.
Plus the bell.
Oh, wow. But there is the welcome. And this is insane because you can get the lovely, maybe?
Yeah.
I think lovely is better.
Yeah.
Because if you get lovely, you get 2 pops. And he does recognize this. Wow. So basically what you can do is you can banish the big welcome to have a compulsory-like effect.
Yeah.
And then you get back both the Stovey and the set, which you cannot use. You can use basically this, the one from the previous turn. I don't know what Ecleto is asking right now, but after there, basically you have 2 interruptions.
Yeah.
Okay. Still, do you wait here or do you use it right away?
I think I would use it, seeing that Ecleto basically passed before. So, looks like he's waiting.
Oh, but I think I would have used my friend first. Because here there is a risk. Let's see. At the same time, Pure Lily is not the greatest because you have the Keldo.
Yeah.
So Keldo is a nice interruption against, obviously, the purely cards in the graveyard. And as you can see here, Ecleto just asking some clarification on his cards. And as you can see here, I would have liked my friend activated before. But I mean, better late than never, so let's see. Oh, is that not just on monsters? Okay, nice. So as you can see here, unfortunately, he cannot use any of his cards.
Yeah.
And that is actually quite surprising that you would want to use that on a spell.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you get a +3 out of it.
Yeah.
You get the pop with the lovely, and you get both the cards back. So I'm really surprised by this choice. And yeah, as you can see here, Keldo is used. There is nothing else going on from Mattia. And wow, there is another thrust.
And this is very, very strong.
Yeah, this is huge. Ecleto kind of smiling. Is he gonna go for the talent draw 2 again? But there is so much that he can draw to just win this game easily. Yeah, goes for the talent. And it seems as if after a rough game 2 and 3, he might go for the comeback.
Yeah. Here it comes, and I think he's going, to draw 2 cards.
Any spell is good enough. Does he pick up anything relevant?
Yeah, I think any of them is just...
Oh wow, he apparently doesn't, but he goes for normal summon Bell into the Donner Furier to just pop both cards. Is that really all he drew into? Wow. What did he draw into? Pass back to his opponent, who draws and set just one face down card.
Incredible that he didn't draw any
Honestly,
purely
what did he
spell.
draw into? Okay, finally picking up some action. And the set, Mattia is considering it. And it's again a big welcome,
Wow,
but
there's
the bell from Ecleto. What are these draws? But yeah, it seems as if finally he has extinguished his welcome trap card. And kind of frustratingly watching over that. I think one of his last win condition was this, because there were 5 minutes remaining. So maybe he could have stolen, the game out of Ecleto, but now I think all hope is lost, and I think Ecleto will be able to easily win this game and match. But what a match it was.
Yeah, I mean, 2 Ash Blossom being activated and then 2 Ghost Bells, so he drew 3 and 2. So it's quite a good number, I would say. And there he comes the Zeus, and I mean, now it gets very complicated for Mattia.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible. Mattia needs to draw Extravagance, probably, to even have some hope. And he goes into the clock. He's then gonna use his big welcome engrave to at least get rid of the Zeus.
Yeah.
And this is actually really nice, because when it resolves, you actually get to set 2 down.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, I think it's one of the nicest cards that he could have drawn into. But
yeah, he tried to bounce it back to his own end. The Zeus was chained, and that's it. Unfortunately, the big welcome sends a card back from your field unless you have a level 8 field. So he tried his best, well recognition by Ecleto. And now, as mentioned, there are about 3 minutes left. Ecleto is gonna be able to push a lot more damage, and as you can see here, Mattia smiling to some of his friends in the crowd, knowing he gave out, honestly, all of his best.
yeah,
Put up a good fight, but unfortunately, it seems as if Ecleto was just the better player.
and it's becoming incredibly impressive now with this field being put up by Ecleto.
As you can see here, gonna activate the trap to just shuffle back some of his level 1s. Not that it matters too much, as mentioned. He's already on 10,000 life points, and he's gonna be able to just push more and more damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enters battle phase, attacks 3,000, attacks with his other monster. And yeah, I don't really see what can be drawn from his opponent.
Yeah, he also goes with my friend, but
Handshake coming down from Mattia, and the winner of the match is Ecleto. Congratulations. Let's go back to us for the post-match discussion.